Welcome to Arlington Public News. I'm Carla Dorado.
And I'm Stephanie Wittenbach. Thanks for joining us. In this edition of APN, will they stay or will they go? We have the decision on those hotly debated columns in front of the high school.
And some Arlington pedestrians just want to make it to the other side. Are some motorists watching out for the other guy? We'll show you how hard it can be for pedestrians, motorists, and bikers to share the same thoroughfare.
And a nonprofit that has provided nearly 500,000 nutritious meals to area residents last year has moved to a bigger home. We'll tell you about FoodLink's plans for the immediate future and beyond. That and more up next. Stay with us. Those columns that have been debated in the design of the new high school will be staying front and center.
The Arlington High School Building Committee decided to go with option A, keeping a traditional look and feel to the high school while building a brand new building.
Plus, decisions on where to place potential pot shops in town topping our news. Brenda Mahoney has more in this week's Snapshot. Brenda?
We'll get to this week's special town meeting in a moment, but first, the High School Building Committee clearing a major hurdle. The stately columns that sit in front of the high school will be reused in the entryway of a new building there. This comes after a community forum at Town Hall that we covered for you last week that showed 2 additional options with a more modern look. At their December 4th meeting, the High School Building Committee took into consideration feedback from the forum and the results of a survey that showed the majority of the 1,400 respondents liked option A with the columns and archway similar to how it is now. But then some committee members discussed their own likes and dislikes, the architect telling them to trust their decisions, but decide now.
You know, the decision of this group has been made that we put it out to the community and the public first, but you all actually are the ones that are most intimately involved in this. But we're getting to the point where it's a pretty massive building. We've got an awful lot of facades to solve for estimating purposes and so on, that we need to get some marching orders.
AHS Building Committee member Amy Spear tells APN the committee will now focus on addressing the cost of the new high school, projected at $308 million, with about 40% expected to come from the state, the rest from Arlington taxpayers. AHS Principal Matthew Janker digging up blueprints for an all-new high school from 1975 that failed to pass. It would have included a hockey rink and pool and served 2,500 students at a cost of $20 million, equal to about $90 million now. Janger saying if passed, he thinks the town would only likely be looking at a renovation now. A vote on the current high school rebuild is expected to go to voters in the spring. Arlington is making room for pot shops to come into town. A special town meeting on December 5th approved up to 3 recreational marijuana facilities in Arlington. This after the state's first 2 marijuana retail stores opened up in November. Any shop in Arlington would face restrictions. They'd only be allowed in business districts away from neighborhoods and must have buffer zones around schools and playgrounds. Andrew Burnell of the Arlington Redevelopment Board telling town meeting members, some who wanted more and some for pushing for fewer shops, that 3 is the right amount.
It was determined that 3 was the ideal number for now based on the number of major business districts in town. This has been an incredibly careful process on the part of the department, the board, and the study committee that put these together.
Arlington does have a medical marijuana facility that opened in October that APN visited. It's at a Water Street medical building. Apotka's owner telling us they are looking to get a license to sell recreational pot alongside medical sales. They must go through the state first and then apply for a permit from Arlington. If approved, it would count as one of the 3. Also at town meeting, the DPW getting funds to upgrade its facilities. The Department of Public Works is housed in several buildings on Grove Street, a couple of them historic. Over the years, they've had to deal with aging facilities, soil contamination, and flooding from the Mill Brook, which runs right through the location. $1.25 million will fund a plan to remodel the historic buildings, put a new building where the parking lot currently is, and move parking to the nearby Pierce practice field. Half of it is owned by the town, the other half by the high school, which would also use it for parking in their rebuilding plans. Town Manager Adam Chapdelaine, in a memo in response to concerns over losing the field used by youth soccer, saying that the town will look at other spots for a new town field. That's it for this week's Snapshot. I'm Brenda Mahoney. Back to you.
Okay, Brenda, thanks. 1 year ago, town leaders embarked on trying to improve the morning commute in Arlington. Through the bus rapid transit pilot, the emphasis was on bus routes along Mass Avenue. You may recall the BRT pilot ended last month. So what was learned? Town leaders say the current roadway setup was not meeting the needs of the community, and the BRT program made it obvious. So this is what they plan to do. More work will be conducted at the Mass Ave and Alewife Brook Parkway intersection. The town will also install signal priority for buses at 2 other intersections along Mass Avenue. In fact, all elements of the pilot program will remain in place, except for the dedicated lane for the 77, 79, and 350 buses. But that may soon change. They are seriously considering the possibility of bringing back the designated bus lanes.
When we talk about permanent implementation, that's the major thing we're talking about, exactly. And we don't know exactly what it will look like. We'll talk about whether or not putting cones out makes sense, painting the ground makes sense, or if there's some other alternative way to take a look at it. But looking at the data, as well as figuring out what the right way to implement a permanent implementation is what we'll be working on over the next few months.
Adam Shaptamane says bus riders saved anywhere from between 5 and 10 minutes off their travel time as a result of the BRT. He tells APN once all the data are in, town leaders will look it over before making any recommendations for permanent changes sometime in the spring.
City sidewalks, busy sidewalks dressed in holiday style. Arlington is now in the midst of the Yuletide season. That means pedestrians, bicyclists, and motorists all sharing the streets. Arlington does have laws in place to help everyone get to their destination safely, but because some people don't know the law or just refuse to follow them, potential dangers can arise. After all, Arlington has seen 3 pedestrian fatalities along Mass Ave in recent years. APN's Jeff Barn talked to some pedestrians who say they walk the line. They just wish motorists would tap the brakes.
This pedestrian is using a designated crosswalk on Mass Ave at the Robbins Library. By law, motorists should stop, but 1, 2, and finally 3 cars cross his path before the poor pedestrian makes it. This disquieting sight is apparently normal for pizza workers watching and at times cringing through their front window.
On a daily basis, just brakes slamming, tires screeching. On a daily basis, really. People just honking their horn at each other, getting angry. Pedestrians having a hard time crossing.
Despite the traffic signals, pedestrians looking both ways, neon flags at several crossings, and the speed limit signs, to some Arlingtonians on foot, motorists are still not getting the message. Yield to pedestrian warning signs are also a very common sight along Mass Ave, but Aslan Zeta says he sees cars eating them like his takeout product.
They take it underneath the car and they take it away with them. I mean, it leaves the scene.
Clearly, the great majority of drivers on Mass Avenue have their eyes on the road and yield to pedestrians who are alert enough to look both ways.
Very polite, very generous. He lets you cross, he stops for you, he waits for you. It's very nice.
Which is a good thing given the number of cars passing through Arlington on any given day. Past engineering surveys have shown that roughly 2,000 vehicles pass along Massachusetts Avenue each hour on the weekdays during peak hours in both directions. With so many motorists using this road and countless pedestrians and bicyclists trying to get from point A to point B, town officials say using this particular artery is a shared responsibility.
Part of the onus is absolutely on the motorists. The motorists have to be aware that, in this day and age, we have people who are out in the roadways and they're looking to get across these roadways. They got to recognize that.
Pedestrians must also recognize by law they use the designated crosswalks if they're within 300 feet of one. Cutting across to save time like this could pose a danger if a motorist is somehow distracted. Motorists must also yield to pedestrians who are within 10 feet of the driver's lane, whether it's along Mass Ave, a side street, or designated school crosswalk.
And they've got to yield for pedestrians who are out there, whether that's at a signaled crosswalk or a crosswalk that doesn't have a signal.
Several pedestrians we talked to say they take particular care when using this busy crosswalk. Zeta says after what he's seen, he's counting on motorists doing the same.
People have gotten hurt, but somebody's going to get hurt worse on this intersection, especially right across the street from the library. It's I think the worst intersection in Arlington.
I'm Jeff Barnes, Arlington Public News.
The standard speed limit for motorists in Arlington is 25 miles an hour. Police say that clearly gives motorists more time to react to sudden changes. If you have any questions regarding driver, pedestrian, and/or bicycle safety laws, you can call Arlington Police at 781-643-1212. Meantime, as we were doing this story, our cameras caught several infractions between motorists and pedestrians alike. As a result, we'll be following up on this story to see what changes in Arlington, if any, need to be remedied. If you have any questions or concerns, we'd like to hear from you. Call us at 781-777-1115.
Since its founding 6 years ago, the nonprofit food rescue group FoodLink has grown tremendously. So much so, in fact, it purchased a new location at 108 Summer Street near Arlington Center. FoodLink collects roughly 1/2 million pounds of donated fresh food a year, which allows for more than 400,000 nutritious meals on the table. APN's Jeff Bucksbaum reports. The new building will allow FoodLink to expand its capacity further, help communities it already serves, and to reach out to other neighborhoods in their coverage area.
FoodLink just purchased a new home on Summer Street at the site of the former Napa Auto Parts store. FoodLink was founded by Arlington residents Julie Kremer and Deanne DuPont in 2012 when they began rescuing bread bound for the dumpster from a local cafe and delivering it to low-income housing communities. FoodLink has grown to employ 3 staff, engage over 150 volunteers from the community, and deliver a wide variety of nutritious food to 30 social service organizations such as senior centers, housing facilities, homeless shelters, and after-school programs.
We need new space because the current location where we do our operations for most of the day is being demolished. We'll have much more cold storage, both freezer and refrigeration. We'll have more dry storage. We'll be able to have our office in the same building.
Additionally, it'll be handicapped accessible and an environmentally controlled climate. So some of our volunteers are unable to volunteer on a regular basis because either they can't take the heat or the cold. Also, we have several older volunteers or people who need an accessible space, and this will broaden our volunteer base and make it a more pleasant experience for them.
Because currently we do all of our collections outside in any kind of weather. So whether it's raining, snowing, 90 degrees, that's where we operate. So having some indoor space means that on really bad days, our volunteers can be inside by bringing it all here to sort.
It's also going to be better for our recipient agencies because we'll be able to more accommodate their schedules. We're going to fund the acquisition and the renovation through a capital campaign, which we plan to launch in early 2019. In addition to the campaign, we'll be soliciting or submitting grants for capital expenses. So we would like to thank those who made it possible for us to receive this $327,000 community development block grant, who include the Select Board of Arlington, Julie Wayman, and Adam Chappeling, the town manager.
Arlington's Community Development Block Grant Program was very happy to give FoodLink the funding for their new facility. They do a great job serving our target community of residents who make a low to moderate income through serving food at the Arlington Housing Authorities, the Senior Center, and a number of after-school programs. We're happy to provide funding to such an important community organization with a great group of volunteers who are making a really positive impact on our community.
I'm Jeff Bucksbaum for Arlington Public News.
FoodLink says it'll be launching a capital campaign to help renovate the new location early next year.
You know, I think FoodLink is doing such a wonderful job, and especially at this time of the year.
You know, it's so important. I have a friend, Brenda, who's working for FoodLink right now, and they're doing a tremendous amount of deliveries to Lawrence, to all those people who are still recovering from the lack of energy, if you so to speak.
Right. Coming up on the other side of the break, are you looking for that perfect Christmas tree at a reasonable price? Do you want to help out area youth programs at the same time? We'll show you where you can do both next.
Are you ready for winter? What's your preference? Snowblower? Shovel? The snow won't go away by itself, you know. Some tips on how to weather the winter storms that are sure to be here any day now. That and more when we come back.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation. You're resigning. Why? You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. Oh, I forgot. I'll do better. Please don't quit on me.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.
Have you finished your Christmas shopping yet? Heck, have you even started?
Town leaders are encouraging you to spend your money right here in Arlington. The Chamber of Commerce is promoting its Shop Arlington First initiative designed to encourage holiday shoppers to purchase products and services locally. The campaign is there to support locally owned independent businesses, jobs, and to preserve the quaint shopping districts we all enjoy. Town leaders say it's important to keep your dollar right here, especially in wake of some businesses that we've said goodbye to in 2018.
If you want a vibrant downtown, if you want a variety of shops to frequent where you live, then you have to buy local. People who own retail shops, restaurants, they need your business all year round, and they certainly need your business in the holiday season. And it's nice to want those things, but if you don't go and shop and spend your money there, a lot of them won't make it. So that's why it's critical that people think about buying local.
The Chamber of Commerce says for every $100 you spend at an Arlington business, $68 stays right here. If you spend the same $100 at a non-local business, only $43 remains. Plus, we have some inside information. You're on Santa's nice list if you shop here.
You certainly don't have to travel far to buy your tree. Now that we are in the thick of the Christmas tree buying season, they're pulling out all the stops at the Boys and Girls Club in Arlington. These fresh Christmas trees, small and tall, just came down from Canada, and the evergreen smell is just overwhelming. The Boys and Girls Club is also selling beautiful plain and decorative wreaths, all at reasonable prices, and the great part is 100% of the money you spend on your holiday decoration benefits the youth programs and activities at the Boys and Girls Club.
The money goes to the Boys and Girls Club and helps support all the great programs that go on here throughout the year. Programs for children as young as 6 months of age, and we serve all ages here at the Boys and Girls Club. And this is a great fundraiser for our facility. It's been going on for over 50 years, and we're very lucky to have the support of the Arlington community and the communities beyond. So it's a really great thing.
This annual Christmas tree sale began last week and lasts until the final tree finds a home. So you better hurry. The sale runs 7 days a week at the club.
Now that you know where to buy the tree, have decked your house, and seen all the holiday specials, it's the perfect time to explore other winter wonderlands.
3, 2, 1.
The Arlington Chamber of Commerce staged its first lights, a magical holiday tree lighting last week at Whittemore Park. There were carolers ushering in the holiday season and hot beverages and donuts for everyone stopping by. There was no snow crunching this year, but the kids were bunching, many taking advantage of the marvelous ice sculptures on display. Area artisans were on hand, making it look oh so easy, no doubt. The holiday season has officially begun in the town of Arlington.
And not to be outdone, the Christmas spirit was alive and kicking in Arlington Heights as well, where ACMi celebrated its own tree lighting ceremony this week with a very jolly guest appearance.
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse.
Santa Claus entertained local kids aged 1 to 92 with a reading of A Visit from St. Nicholas at ACMi Studios before a crackling fire on a cold winter-like night, even when millions of toys still needed some finishing touches before being loaded on Santa's sleigh. The big man had time for us. Immediately after story time, everyone went outside for an annual ACMi tree lighting. APN's Jeff Barn got to chat with some of those in the audience. And, no surprise, this year's event got a very enthusiastic thumbs up.
All right, what's your favorite part about listening to Santa Claus tell you the story, 'twas the night before Christmas?
God.
You like that a lot?
Yes.
What do you like so much about Christmas time?
About the presents.
You like the presents and the toys?
Yes. I do.
What are you looking forward to getting this year, do you know?
I don't know. I liked it. I liked the Christmas, that they put together the Christmas carols for us. And the trees look really good. My favorite part of Christmas time is when family gets together.
There were cookies and hot beverages to keep everyone warm. The holiday music was courtesy of the Park Avenue Church Youth Choir. Santa unfortunately couldn't attend. We presume he took off for home to get ready for the big day. Everyone here at ACMi wants to thank you for coming out and celebrating the holiday season with us.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
To quote Andy Williams, it is the happiest season of all if you are prepared. Arlington's hardware store at 1298 Mass Ave has been around since the early 1920s, since Warren G. Harding was president. Clearly, Arlingtonians had to endure tough winters back then, and they came to this shop to grab whatever was the state-of-the-art snow shovels of the Roaring '20s. Nearly a century later, Wanamaker True Value is still selling snow clearing devices of all shapes, sizes, and prices. Here are some winter tips to winterize before the big one hits. With so many shovels to choose from, you're only going to really need one that's going to last you. But the latest gadget is the high-tech power shovel that can range anywhere from $100 to $200. Quick and easy it is, but Mike Gwen, manager at Wanamaker, says even this sturdy generic shovel has lasted him over a decade. With no metal edge, it keeps his wood porch from chipping. When it comes to ice salts, the handle shaker is easiest and fastest to use, costing around $13. Most consumers don't know that many salts can actually harm pets if they ingest the chemicals. They can also be very painful on the paws. The main ingredient in these salts are sodium and calcium chloride, so keeping in mind there are alternatives will be much safer for your pet. Using gloves will be the most effective way from safely spreading salt and shoving, especially if you have sensitive skin. Touching the salts when your hands are moist can be extremely harmful.
In a way, it'll actually burn your hands a little bit. Technically, it would saponify the oil in your hands and turn it to soap, and that's not a good thing.
The brand Inferno can help you keep track of where you spread the salt using its blue color as a guide. So far, we've been pretty lucky weather-wise. Wanamaker says now is the time to be proactive in getting the proper tools so you can get out and about.
Coming up next on Arlington Public News, we have a complete wrap-up of the Spy Ponders women's basketball team. They're expecting great things this season.
And another look at our Christmas tree lighting celebration, the sights and sounds of Arlington at Christmas time, that and more when we come back.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. This cat makes me make art. He's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
A very frank and public discussion about the field of journalism in these divisive times, raising money to finance a student field trip.
And don your Oxford bags or a flapper dress. The Roaring '20s are coming back to town. Here's Claire Kitzmiller with tonight's Ponder Scope.
Welcome to the Ponder Scope, your Arlington High School news, updates, and more. The Arlington High School Journalism Club will be hosting a panel of locally and nationally known journalists on Friday, December 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. The event is free, but there will be food for sale to support the club. This symposium is a great opportunity for students and staff and community members to learn more about the field of journalism and how it's changing with the media and our current political climate. Audience members will have time to ask their own questions as well as meet the panelists. Panelists include Abby Matheson, Brenda Mahoney, Heather Beasley Doyle, David Whitford, and Dave Dennison. The Global Goods Sale is coming back to Arlington High School on Tuesday, December 11th in the main lobby from 11:30 until 3:30. Feel good about spending money as you take care of your own shopping needs while helping to raise money for Arlington High's Panama trip and global and local education projects. 100% of proceeds go to helping others. Come to the First Parish Unitarian Universalist of Arlington prom on Saturday, December 8th at 7 p.m. The theme is Roaring '20s, so dress up if you'd like or wear your pajamas. The tickets are $15 with food included and can be bought at the door or from a friendly Unitarian Universalist. All funds go to supporting a service trip to West Virginia at the end of the year. The Arlington Health Department will be holding a flu vaccination clinic on Thursday, December 6th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at Arlington Town Hall. The clinic will be open to seniors, adults, and children. The Center for Disease Control continues to stress the importance of flu vaccination. As long as flu viruses are spreading and causing illness, vaccination should continue throughout flu season in order to protect as many people as possible. If you have any questions, contact the Board of Health. I'm Claire Kitzmiller, and this has been the Ponder Scope.
The Spy Ponder girls basketball team enters its preseason.
Here's Alex Van Thong from Studio B with your highlights.
The winter season is almost upon us, which means our Spy Ponders are hard at work getting ready for their first games. ACMi sports broadcaster, Scott Zwick, spent some time with the girls' varsity basketball team to find out how they've been getting ready for the new season.
Last year's team was young, but this year's team may even be younger, as this team only has 2 seniors on the group, Annie Harris and Carrie Farina. They talked with us after the scrimmage.
Everyone's kind of like happy to be back. We came off a really good season last year, so I think everyone's excited to. We're really excited to have games starting up soon, and we have new teammates, and we're trying to like figure out how everyone plays together, and we've been playing really well together so far.
Yeah, everybody like gets everything like really quickly, and we get everything done in practice, and everything's going smoothly, and it's like really nice. Yeah.
What are you thinking about before a game, to try to get yourself ready?
Just take breaths and just make the easy pass and just calm down.
Today, the Spy Ponders went through their final practice in preparation for tomorrow's big scrimmage, the first one of the year. The team ran offense and defensive drills. Coach Mortal had a couple of pep talks, lots of instruction, high spirits, high energy, everyone ready to go tomorrow.
So I think this is one of the first years we've had a lot of kids playing AAU. All the girls played in summer league, they played in fall league, so I think they've played a lot of separate basketball, so they're working on their skills during AAU, and then during the fall and summer league they're coming together and getting used to each other. I told the girls this is the best that I've seen a team come in. We started day one of practice, it didn't seem like day one of practice, it seemed like we were in two weeks already. I've been super excited this whole summer. I couldn't wait. End of last year, I'm like really, really excited. I'm ready for this next group to come in. We had a lot of returners. Losing Ellie and Abby were 2 big losses for us, but these girls have stepped up a lot, and I'm just really excited for the season. I can't, day one we were ready to go, and the girls are showing that enthusiasm, so it makes it fun to come to practice every day.
Be sure to tune into ACMi Sports next week for more coverage of the girls' varsity basketball team, as well as the start of girls and boys hockey, boys wrestling, and boys varsity basketball.
We'll be following all your Spy Ponder sports action as the winter season gets underway. Meantime, you can check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Arlington Public.
If you have any news tips for us here at Arlington Public News, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by the studio at 85 Park Ave. I'm Carla Dorado.
And I'm Stephanie Wittenbach. We leave you now with some of the festive scenes of the ACMi tree lighting earlier this week. A wonderful time was had by young and old alike.
We want to wish you all a very happy December. As Hanukkah winds down and Kwanzaa and Christmas are just days away, all of us here at ACMi wish you a fun, safe, and happy holiday season. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
3, 2, 1, bang. There we go.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the hills we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits rise. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
All right, we got some more singers. Good.